Welcome back to my daily Tour de Bike coverage. We're now on day 9, so let's get over to track leaders and have a little look and see what's been going on. And I guess the main sort of news up front is Ulrich and Justinus, they seem to be tracking at a similar trajectory, although I suspect that Ulrich is about to catch up with Justinus. So they've just passed over Marshall Pass. I'll show you on Riby GPS shortly, and I've got a bit of video of that. But Marshall Pass, one of the big climbs in Colorado after Salida, and it looks like Ulrich's actually pushing on quite late. There's a small town at the foot of the climb or the descent called Sargent's, and there are lodges, and there's I think it's a gas station and a cafe and a shop, and it looks like Justinus has taken the accommodation. He stopped relatively early last night. And Ulrich obviously is trying to get to that same location. So I suspect Ulrich looks like he's pretty much crested. He's on the descent now. It's not the fastest descent. It does tend to drag quite a bit. But I suspect Ulrich is going to get in probably, around 2 a.m. It's about 10 past 1 a.m. local time at the moment. So I suspect both our lead riders will be in the same location. And we'll see. We'll see what sort of transpires in the morning. Is Ulrich going to have a short sleep, or is he going to carry on his 3 or 4 hour schedule? I suspect Justinus might. Well, he's been there 2 hours 40 minutes or so. So I suspect he might even get up and get moving before Ulrich gets there. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But it's by no means a done deal for Justinus at the front here. Ulrich, we know, has been very consistent with his sleep and his schedule, and he's slept inside every single night. And Ulrich is a bit more kind of happy-go-lucky with it. He's not quite as planned as Ulrich, and to be honest, knowing them both fairly well, I think it's probably a reflection of their personalities. I think Justinus thrives a bit more in chaos, and Ulrich is a bit more controlled and organised about things. We'll keep an eye on that. Going to be very exciting. So Marshall Pass, I think it's the second or third highest point of the whole route. I can't remember if Boreas is higher than Marshall or not, but they're very similar. And then they've got the drag across to Del Norte, and then Indiana Pass, which is the highest pass of the route, and then they head into New Mexico. So, plenty to race for those guys, and it's going to be exciting. And of course, they are still way ahead of Mike's Dot at the moment. That's I'm hoping there's no fire diversions or anything like that once they hit New Mexico. Because it'd be such a shame if they set a fast time and then it wasn't an official record. Let's see how that pans out. Further back, Lawrence Tendam, he's just in sort of no man's land now. There's a big gap back behind. Bearing in mind that Lael Wilcox's record here, that's 15.5 day pace, so Lawrence is still absolutely flying. It looks like he's stayed in a hotel in Silverthorne tonight. He's got such a big gap now. I think he can afford to, push hard, ride hard, but stop earlier, sleep a little bit more. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's the fastest guy on the course by the end. We've just got to see how that pans out. But he's 150 plus miles behind Ulrich and Justinus now. So that's going to be a very hard gap to shut for him. And unless there's a disaster up front, it's probably very unlikely. But even so, he's still on a 14 day finish time at the moment. Further back, and this is where the main shake-up has happened so far. Obviously, there was the Great Basin, and there was some weather and stuff in there, and it's kind of shaken things up. Thomas Fabian is still in 4th position, although it's not been without his issues. He did drop back a couple of places. I've got some social media and stuff. I think he had some issues in the basin. And basically, it's all that rain and the storm has slowed them up. And Lael Wilcox's record dot is now ahead of those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Tom is still riding at the moment. He's going over, I think it's Sand Divide. It's not many places to sleep up there, and it's getting quite high. So he's probably going to have to do quite a late one. And get down the other side, and maybe he'll camp somewhere near Clark, or I doubt he'll push into Steamboat. But we'll see how that goes. We've got some new names now. So it looks like there's a big group of riders currently in Brush Mountain Lodge, which is basically here. So Megan Hakkinen, she's still leading the women's race, although the gap is closing down to Anna Jaeger. She's really not very far away now. It looks like they're having a big rest up in Brush Mountain Lodge. Obviously, Lael is ahead of Megan now on for the record, but you can see Robert Pearson. He's a name that we've not seen in the sort of top 5. Leven, excuse my pronunciation, Leven Schroyen, the Belgian contingent, and then there's a couple of Aussies, Raymond Friedrich, Aidan Lamper. They're all in Brush Mountain Lodge at the moment. So it's going to be a bit of a reset. And then Christian Dupraz, I mean, you might remember him from the first day. He pushed out quite early. He seems to have got the jump on all of them. I guess he didn't stop at Brush Mountain Lodge. It is a bit of you can get stuck there very easily in Brush Mountain Lodge. And it looks like there's a few people having a big reset. So that's going to be interesting. And of course, Anna Jaeger, we can't forget about Anna Jaeger. She's just been plodding along, doing her thing, riding very consistently. And it looks as though she could well close up. I imagine, well, she's probably a couple of hours away from Brush Mountain Lodge. I imagine she'll probably push to get there and then sleep tonight. And we're going to have a similar situation to we have in the men's race. I wouldn't be surprised if Anna and Megan are together in the morning, and then it'll be a case of who starts earlier. I imagine Megan would probably get the jump on her again. But it just goes to show that consistency does pay off, and it's a long race, so it's never over. So really exciting to see how that develops going on. So let me go off full screen, and before I go any further, obviously I've got to say a big thank you to Redshift. You know by now that they're sponsoring my coverage. They do loads of cool stuff. Seat posts, bars, little gadgets that you didn't even know you needed for your bikes. So check out those guys, and I've got a little discount below in the description if that's something you're interested in. And let's have a little look to see. I've got an update from Ulrich, and let's see where they are. So they've passed through. Where are we? Del Norte. Let me just get my bearings. So I did find Marshall Pass. Yeah, they went through Salida, Breckenridge. Here we go. Hartsall. So they crossed the South Park Basin to Salida. Bit of a flat road bit through the valley, and then this is Marshall Pass here. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So you can see Ulrich is on the descent at the moment. Marshall Pass, pretty high on the overall. You can see it's one of the highest points. Looks like it, third highest point. Boreas must be a little bit higher than Marshall Pass. If you look at the elevation on the bottom of Ride GPS here. So that's a big challenge for them. I've got a little bit of video from when I rode it in 2019. So I started in Salida and I left really early. I think it was maybe 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. So I was lucky enough to have the sunrise on Marshall Pass. So this is what the top, or going up Marshall Pass, looks like as the sun's coming up. So yeah, it's a pretty special moment, and that's the cool thing about Tour Divide. You're riding pretty random places, pretty spectacular places at very odd times of day. There's got the kind of experience that you wouldn't necessarily get, and if you're just going out for a day ride. So and these riders are getting that every single day. So let's hear what Ulrich has had to say about the last couple of days.
Hey Josh, good morning. I heard that you missed a few updates from you guys at the head of the race, so I thought maybe I should send something. So as we are now on day 9 of racing and still very, very close at the front, when I pass Silverthorne in a couple of minutes, I guess, after the sleep Justinas and me had. We have a gap of 2 or 3 hours, considering that we are, I don't know, nearly 200 hours into the race. That's not too much. So I think it takes focus. Or it takes energy to maintain this focus and keep racing hard. So everything which is not super mandatory to make progress gets a bit cut down, and maybe that's why I missed to send you an update yesterday. So after I slept in warm Sutter, it was a good decision, I think, because when I continued in the morning I had less headwind, so it was way faster on the stretch than Justina's to Brush Mountain Lodge. Had the fabulous pancakes there. It's a mandatory thing to eat the pancakes of Kirsten, and then continued past Steamboat, and in the evening got caught in the most horrific thunderstorm I had for a while. I was in the middle of it, so lightning was going down left and right, in front and behind. It was really a bit scary, but there was no other option than just to continue. And I was totally soaked because there were some river crossings that were nearly hip deep, and that was not so much fun, going through the deep water and then having like all the water below your rain pant. It was not so nice. Was a bit cold, so was freezing, and decided to stay in Kremling, a bit off route, and continue today early morning to Silverthorne. And again, I think that was a good idea, and now I'm really looking forward to beautiful days in the high Rockies of Colorado. One of my favorite stretches. I think this day will be super amazing. Cheers, man.
So there we go. That was Ulrich's update over the last couple of days, and it just sounds like he's really looking after himself. So caught out in the storm after Steamboat. So let's just have a little look at the map. So Steamboat is here, and so he dropped off into Kremlin, which is this little town here. So you may remember yesterday we kind of picked up on that. So we would have gone a couple of miles off route to stay there, but if you're soaking wet and freezing cold, and sometimes you just got to like lose a bit of time to gain time further up, and it sounds like Uber's really doing that quite well at the moment during this race. And I mean the fact that he's probably going to be catching Justinas, certainly seeing him today. Let's have a look at the dots now. I suspect he's going to be, Justinas is awake now as well, so he's not quite going to close him, but Justinas has had his sleep and is moving. So yeah, breaking news. So that gap is maintaining. So it's going to be interesting to see if Ulrich sleeps tonight or not, or whether he pushes through. So yeah, 1:30. Justinas is obviously looking at the dots. So he's moving again. So that's interesting. Let's see what Ulrich does. Is he going to start cutting the sleep soon in order to close that gap down? Because at the moment, I feel like Justinas is probably the fastest rider. He's got just over a 10-mile gap at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. It's getting a bit tactical now. So yeah, really good to hear from Uber, and hopefully I'll hear from Justinas at some point. But as Ulrich said, anything other than moving forward is deemed unnecessary at the moment. So unfortunately, it means less updates for us to hear, so we can hear from him. So other things to talk about. Saw Thomas Fabian. He really did drop off yesterday, and well, you can't see it on the dots now. He's moved up again, but he had a bit of a rough time in the basin, got stuck in the mud, and it looks like he he was bivvying out, and it looks like he's got bitten on the eye by something like a bug or something like that, and his eye's swollen up, which would really kind of explain why he's slowed a little bit as well. So here we go, a little update. So thunderstorm, the mud stopped him, set the alarm, woke up at 2 a.m, but it was still not possible to continue. So in the morning he realised he had a sting around his eye and he can't see, and then he crashed in the mud, and he's ran out of water and out of food. So yeah, that's the Tour Divide for you. Looks like he's very positive though. So life is good. Let's continue. And he's come back from that adversity quite well, and that's really good to see. And it sounds like the Basin really has just been smashing everyone. I finally got a voice note from Jimmy Ashby. So he was pushing up in the top 5. He's dropped off a little bit now. He's currently in Wamsutter. So let's hear what Jimmy had to say.
G'day mate, Jimmy Ashby here. Sorry it's taken me so long to get a message to you. I've sort of been battling away, not necessarily in the best of states. Last night in the Basin, I just fell apart. Couldn't regulate body temperature, some pretty bad diarrhea, and just like drifting in and out of consciousness, just in the bushes, hiding from the wind. So yeah, I've crawled my way towards Wamsutter today, and just going to take the evening there tonight and the night to eat some food, try and find my legs again, and man, sort out my guts, hey, because I am a mess in many ways. And then yeah, should be good. Cruise on down. Probably more touring mode than racing mode, but hey, I don't know, just here to ride my bike. That's what I love. But that first 2,000 kilometers, far out, mate. That is no joke. It is so epic, so hard, mountainous snowstorms. What a incredible route it is. I couldn't speak any more highly of it. Particularly those snowstorms. That one going over Lava Mountain left me again in an absolute state. I rolled into Butte, hypothermic, just exhausted, like 2 a.m. Everything was soaked, wet, could hardly walk. I just threw my card at a hotel guy. He had to help me open the door and get into my hotel. I was cooked. I thought my race was over there and then. But anyway, it's amazing out here. I hope your updates are going well. Let me know. I'll try and drop you a bit of a more positive message later on if I've found my legs again. But yeah, I just need a day to get, or maybe an evening to get back into it, and hopefully feeling better and back on the road before we know it. Heading down, cruising the Tour Divide. Chat soon. Ciao.
So that was from Jimmy. As you can see, currently in Wamsutter. Sounds like he's just had a bit of a rough time in the Basin. I guess a bit of dehydration or eating something funny. So yeah, he's resting up, and I'm sure it's amazing what a good night's sleep can do on the Tour Divide, and your body gets so in tune with riding that it bounces back pretty quick. So it'd be good to see what he can do and see if he can close back up to that top 5 kind of position. Just to finish up, there's an update from Megan Hakkinen over on her Instagram. So let's see what Megan said about the Basin.
Tour Divide Day 9 update. I think it's Day 9. Anyways, I started in Lincoln. Things were going well. Was really excited to get to the Basin. The weather looked good, and then some storms came in. I sheltered there for a little bit in Atlantic City. Headed out in the evening. Felt great. You could see the storms on the horizon. There was lightning, but it's clear in the direction of Wamsutter. So it was pretty decent, and I was having fun. The moon came up. Rolled through the night, and I finally got to the part where the mud has not dried up enough. So I'm gonna bivvy. It's just after 1 a.m. So hopefully I get a few hours of sleep and the sun will come up and I can keep going. I'm daydreaming about all the delicious things I'm gonna eat at that Love's gas station in Wamsutter. I don't even know where I'll begin or where I'll end, but
So there we go. That's Megan. Sounds like the basin has been challenging, like patches of mud. And all you can do is, if it is still wet, you're just fighting a losing battle. So sometimes you just got to stop and bivvy and wait for it to dry out. It can dry fairly quickly when the wind's blowing there, and obviously when the sun comes up, it's much easier and it dries much quicker. And it looks like she got to the Loves gas station and got her breakfast, and that's a typical Tour Divide haul right there. And finally, let's just see what Lawrence Ten Dam has been doing. There's a bit of an update on he's got really good updates on his Instagram, mostly Dutch, but there's subtitles.
Het is 11:15 in de Brush Mountain Lodge. Ik zie het als een soort safe haven op de ronde van de Tour Divide. Dus ik had meteen pizza, iemand ging mijn fiets wassen, gewoon iemand die daar zijn eigen fiets stond te wassen. S'nachts de Basin door, dus in plaats van te gaan slapen en herstellen, ben ik doorgereden. Klok ik hem net af op rond de 670 kilometer sinds gisterochtend. Joh, morgen staan echt op 10:30. Ik ga tukken. Wel rusten.
Hij heeft het gered.
So yeah, that's obviously Lawrence. He's got quite in-depth sort of updates on there, so check him out. But yeah, it looks like he's feeling the effects of the Tour Divide, and he stayed in Brush Mountain Lodge for a while. We've got a big group there at the moment. It is a bit of a magnet, and like he says, it's kind of a safe haven, and sometimes it is tricky to leave. I can know that from experience. So yeah, hopefully everyone there is having a good time. Kirsten really looks after everyone, and yeah, she does a lot for the Tour Divide, and yeah, let's see how it all pans out. So a bit of a long one today, so thanks for watching, and I'm going to do a bit of a look at some of the bikes that some of the front runners are using. So check out that video later on today, and yeah, catch you again tomorrow for another one.